Welcome to the introduction of the business trip module in TULIP. This often is divided into the two parts, which is the planning of the business trip and the actual settlement. Everything is hidden behind this business trip tile, uh, and often it involves the employee, manager, and then the accounting department. What you see on the screen is actually login of the actual employee. So let's start and walk you through the basics. So once we click on the business trip module, what you see is the business trip overview. So it gives me the overview of everything that I already have in progress or waiting for someone's approval. And then I can acquire a new business trip, right? So when I click on the business trip, it basically gives me this planning screen. Now what you see here is the workflow. So the typical workflow for clients are employee requests the plan, then the manager approves, and then when the employee comes back and has all the expenses, then he's creating the settlement, right? So he creates settlement, it gets approved, and then at the end processed by the accounting department. So if I look at the plan, it gives me a couple of sections to fill out. What I need to do is one, look at put the purpose when I start. Where is my starting place? So it's from here, Bratislava, Slovak Republic. So it's my starting place. Where do I'm going, right? So I can keep adding the locations in case this trip it has a couple of countries, right? So here's where I'm filling it out, and then I'm putting the reason. So I'll pick a country from to, or when I'm traveling, is it by aeroplane, bus, company car, etc. So this is the section where I'm putting it in. Also, there's a section for advance payment. Sometimes the company offers the advance payment, since some of the business could get expensive. So here I'm getting some advance payment, and that gets processed later on in a settlement. So is it either cash or bank transfer, right? And then what's the project that I'm putting this business cost to, right? So it's going to be project, and I can also bill it to the department. What you see on the screen is very typical. It could get slightly customized per customer need. So what can get customized is the workflow. In case you need to add a level of approval, for example, could be a second level of approval after managers or some other department involved before, for example, the accounting department, right? So there's some basics. So once that happens, right? So employee fills this in, he's sending it to approval, right? So the manager needs to approve such a thing, right? So once that's sent to approval, the manager receives a notification that he gets this plan for employee to approve. When I log in as manager, I'm able to go to my task. So I received the notification that the employee submitted a plan for the business trip, and I can go to my task and I find it there, right? Right here I'm able to see it, that this was sent for planning. There are some other things that I need to approve, but I can either go to that business trip one by one, or I can plan bulk approve. I mean, there's an option. It's very similar similar as we have it for example, for the attendance. So this was the plan that was sent to my approval, right? I'll open it, and I can review this, right? So here the employee submitted it. This is setting with me, and I can review. Okay, this was a route. It's from Bratislava, right? It's planning to go to Germany by aeroplane. There is a reason it's built to this project department. So here I can just simply either reject or approve such plan. Once that's approved, the employee receives a notification of such approval. Then he goes to the business trip, and then later on he's doing the settlement, right? So here I can just slightly, very simply approve this business trip. Once the employee comes back from the business trip, now he needs to settle the business trip. So he should actually collect all the receipts, all the costs associated with it. So he has that ready in order to fill this one out, right? There is one task. So in my task, all the business trip settlements are actually captured here. So let's just open this one. And let's walk through everything that needs to be considered, right? So here is the plan. So again, when I created, manager approves, now it's with me to settle, right? So here, the route that I have is from Bratislava. I went to Prague, and then I flew to Romania, right? So that's the route that got approved. So first, so I can just review it one more time, right? So first, what needs to be filled out is when I cross the borders. In here, I need to put exactly when from the country Slovakia, when I crossed the borders to Czech, right? I went with the bus, and then when I flew to Romania and come back from Romania to Slovakia. So that's basically the route. I need to put the exact time of the entry, as that really matters for the calculation. That's one section to be considered. Second, the meals. So were the meals provided by the company, or I need to be actually covering this by myself? So I will get the per diems. So in here, all the breakfast and lunch was provided by the company, and dinner didn't. If did actually, I can click on any of these in case of some of the lunches or breakfast were not provided, so I can really just go through it one by one. So that's another section. Then I need to input all other costs associated with such business trip. So in here, yes, I had a taxi, right? I put exact how much did I pay. You have some other options in case you want to put a custom rate, or whether this taxi was paid by the company card. So there are some options that we offer for the clients. I put my aeroplane tickets. There were some other costs that I needed to pay. There was this accommodation, right, for the hotels, and some bus tickets. So I put all of the different types just so you can see that we have that flexibility. And then the rates are being covered, that it's in the background, right? We do all the calculations in the background. Another section, it's a compensation of fuel. In case I will be using the car, especially my private car, I am able to provide the details in here so I can get that reimbursed, right? You can either use the legislation price, which means that there is a legislation price that's set by the government, and we have that captured in the background, or you can use the price from the receipts, right? In here, what's nice about this is in case you use the car, you can add a new private car, or you can use any of these that's already inputted, and those are the private cars that I have attached to my profile, right? And this then last section is attachments, which I provide all the attachments of the cost. So put the taxi, right? Anything that was cost related, I need to provide the receipt. So I have a taxi in here, I have aeroplane tickets, the other accommodation, the accommodation, and also the bus tickets. So I put the attachment one by one. In case I need to put any, I just put a plus sign, and then again it provides me just with the date and the possibility to attach, right? So all of these drop downs that you see again could be customized, but we have them preset from the basic types of costs that we typically have. And then at the end, so once I put all of these data, I have the result, right? The result of the settlement that is captured on the allowances, on the pocket money, the additional cost. In case I have that car use, so there will be kilometers or the fuel compensation. And then the total, in case I did get the advance payment, it will get deducted. And this is all of the results of the settlement. What's nice about it, you can download this, right, in the Excel format as well. You can download the attachment. So when you look at the Excel, it actually looks like this, right? Nice result of the settlement. It's in bilingual. You can see the details, right? Details of the settlement. So all of the per diems and how it was paid, right? In case you use the private car, it's also up here. It will be provided. Then there are travel requests, which is actually just a travel request in case you need to provide from the when it starts up to the end. And then what's nice about this, some clients are actually printing this one out, so you can stick some expense claims right here to the physical expense claims. Now, and then when I'm done reviewing this and I captured all the costs, everything is correct, I simply send it to manager's approval just by clicking to the send to approval. Once employee submits the settlement, there's a notification that goes to the manager. The manager will go to my task where he can see all the settlements waiting for his approval, right? Again, he can bulk approve or he can go one by one. This is the settlement, so I click on it and open one. I can again review, this is the workflow, so it sits with me as a manager. Now I can review fully what was submitted, right? So I can look at all the sections that were filled out by the employee on the crossing border, meals, right? The costs that was provided. I can review them. I can look at the attachments if I need to. And at the end, I basically, what's important is the cost, right? So the results of the settlement. I can quickly review this, and if everything is correct, I can simply approve. If not, I'm rejecting it and it goes back to the employee. After manager approves the settlement, it goes to the last workflow approver, which is the accounting department. Again, they will receive notification, right? Come to my tasks, where they see the submitted settlements for the approval. So this is, for example, one that we just discussed, and you can review it as an accountant. You can, similarly as the manager does, most importantly is the results and the attachments. So they will review all the costs, they will review everything that was submitted, and they will approve or reject. In case something is missing, they will reject this. It will go back to the employee to rectify, or if everything is correct, they'll just simply approve. Once the approval is done, this is the finalization of this business trip planning plus the settlement. In summary, I wish to provide some additional features that we have that was not fully covered. So one is that we mentioned the settlement bulk or settlement approval. It's just a screen where you can do it in a bulk. You can filter this nicely, even go to the history, what was settled or approved. This bulk approval or settlement approval is sitting with the accounting department or the manager. Now, in any of these business trips, there is a log, so you can look at the log right here nicely. So what was in which workflow is what was approved, what was accepted, and when. So there is a timestamp history. Also, we have reports. So each of these business trips are captured in specific reports. So if you go to TULIP and the report section, you will see a specific business trip reports that are on the advance payment. You can also have a report of all the vehicles that are utilized and the actual history of the business trip. So this is a nice report where you can filter it in more detail by department, project, vehicle, countries, etc. So this gives you a very good overview for the accountant or the manager. And lastly, when you look at the business trip tile, again you can filter in more detail of this history. So you can go through this view and go to the detail of the actual request, or you can utilize the report. And this covers a quick overview of our business trip module. Thank you.